I'm going to start.
Go ahead.
Go? No.
We're on, dude.
All right. Well, I'm just waiting. Okay. What's up, WiseTake? What's up, WiseTake? Welcome to the WiseTake Live DFS podcast. I'm your host tonight, Patio Joe. You can follow me on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. And I am joined here tonight by my fellow Guido, my fellow WAP, Mr. Paulie D. You can follow him on Twitter at Paulie D, the Pauli with 8 Ds. You could spell it, figure it out. It's on the screen right there. Take a look at it. And say what's up, Paulie D.
What's going on, guys? How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well. Tell me about your weekend. You had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, man. Started Thursday night. It took like 8th in like a $1,500 entry tournament for 4,000. And Saturday night, I hit second in a $530 tournament for another 35. And that same lineup cashed in the Monster. So it's like an $8,000 2-day run. It was cool.
Very good. Now, if anybody's wondering where my main man CK is, he is actually on the 1s and 2s right now. He's going to be in the chat room answering your questions in the chat room, and I'm going to be taking over the host spot for tonight. CK had a very long weekend in Amish country. He was churning some butter. He was looking at some antiques. He was having a great time. And he is exhausted. He is back now, ready to hit it next week. So he told me, he said, JB, help us out tonight. Run it. You did such a good job on Thursday night, and we want you to do it again. And I said, hell yes, this was fun. So I'm looking at the chat right now. King Howie, what's up? How you doing, Jay? My man Syracuse. Robert, hello. DFS plug. Envious One, hello everybody. We are out there. We are live tonight. We are having a great time. It's Sunday. All right. We're going to talk about the games tomorrow night. But first, what we're going to talk about is a little bit on how we start our process. And so what I'm trying to talk to you is like how we start today, like what I'm going to be doing and just the opening process that I have. So Paulie D, you start first. Your first thing that you start on tomorrow, for instance, your research. What's your first step?
My first step is taking a look at the games, the spreads, probably checking Vegas out. It would be like my first spot, and mostly focusing on the pitchers. Pitchers like by far the most important thing, especially on FanDuel. We only got one, and that's where most of my research is done. Pitchers that I want to look at targeting as pitchers and take pitchers I want to target with bats. That's try and create a list of each.
Yeah. So for me, guys, I know I might be a little bit old school. I don't even know if it's old school, but I actually use my own I write down right here, and I have my own pen and paper, and I write down. I split the pitching matchups between righties and lefties, so I kind of spread out to see how many righties and how many lefties are pitching each day. And then what I'll do, that's just the first step, and then I kind of will break down what exactly what the team wobas against lefties are to see if any good team wobas are. And then I might go on for individual stats, which pitchers have the highest home run per 9 against lefties. I love going to homemade notes just because it's when you're making your lineups, you can kind of go to what you wrote down. If something happens during the day, you just kind of write it down, and it's something that when you're going to making your lineups, you can remind yourself. It's something that I'm a big on learning on what exactly the process is, because so many times in DFS you'll see a tout and they'll tell you, Okay, so here's the lines, here's the good pitchers, here's what you should do. Now go do your research. Well, what exactly does that mean? What's the process? What exactly do you look at? And I write down exactly who I like, and then I'll see certain trends happen. I'll see, wow, I see a lot of players for this one team pop up. I'll see a lot of players, a lot of pitchers that I might like. And then it's basically just narrowing down the field. And then I might go to an optimizer and seeing what the optimizer might say. And it's basically taking out certain players, because when you have like a big slate, like maybe Tuesday we'll talk about, it can be overwhelming. But today we only have 6 games, so it's pretty easy to pick out who you like and who you want to target. So with that said, let's get into the games. The first game of the day we have, let's see, let me go to the right date. That's today. Let's go to the 26th. We have, let's figure the first 2. We have Mr. Eddie Butler of the Chicago Cubs traveling to the nation's capital, taking on Gio Gonzalez and the Washington Nationals. What do you got, Paulie?
This is probably a preview of the playoff matchup. These two teams are doing well, and so there may be a little extra energy from both sides. I like the Nationals bats here. Eddie Butler has the lowest Sierra on the slate, and he's been getting batted around in his last few starts. He doesn't have anything too overpowering, so it's a good spot for a lot of these hitters. On a 6-game slate, they might be pretty popular because we have a handful of really dominant starters, and this is one of the matchups without it. So I am probably going to target the lower part of this lineup. I'm looking at Murphy, Anthony Rendon, and Michael Taylor, Matt Wieters, combination of those 4 guys most likely. On the other side of this, you could go with the Cubs. Gio Gonzalez has been pitched pretty well lately, and it's not my favorite spot, but a one-off of Chris Bryant or Wilson Contreras, I could understand. Javi Baez is pretty cheap, and he does well against lefties. So, like, a cheap one-off to make other pitchers fit is fine as well. But I'm not really interested in the Cubs side.
Yeah, I would probably, I want to look at the weather in this game too. You want to see if it's humidity, where the wind's blowing. It looks like it might be blowing out about 7 miles an hour. It's funny. Gio Gonzalez is not sexy at all, but he's been getting it done. And I know that it's on a slate tomorrow when there's only 6 games, and there is some pretty good options. He's one of the pitchers that I think that in cash, I think if you wanted to go to a second pitcher besides obviously Sale, he might be an option, just because the Cubs haven't been wowing anybody. And if you look at Gio's game logs, he's got 46, 40, 46, 37, 38, 34. It's pretty consistent for 8,800. I don't mind it. I like the Nats. I like the Nats bats. At any time they can go off and just absolutely destroy an opponent. Mm-hmm. So you always want any of them. And if you want like one-offs, obviously, I like a guy like Brian Goodwin for 2,400, 2,600. He's always good for cash games, especially if he's batting second. So yeah, this game is definitely juicy because, like you said, it's one of the few that doesn't have like an elite pitching matchup.
Yep.
All right, so we got coming off the DL, Cole Hamels of the Texas Rangers traveling to Cleveland to take on Carlos Carrasco and the Cleveland Indians. Hit it off, Paulie.
This is definitely an interesting game here. I'm not exactly sure yet how I'm going to approach it, but I think it's kind of like the linchpin to the slate. If you get this spot right, you'll be in a good spot. So, no one knows what to expect from Cole Hamels coming off the DL. He was a great pitcher, and I believe he's kind of on the downside of his career. Doesn't mean he's bad by any means. So, first start getting back, he's definitely not a guy I would pitch, but I'm not sure if I want to target him or not. So, I'm trying to put that together. There's some hot Indian bats, Jose Ramirez, E5, Santana, Austin Jackson that you could go to. So I got to take a look at their hitting profiles. Check me out tomorrow. I'll let you know. And on this other side, Carlos Carrasco is an arm I want to target, but it's tough. The Texas Rangers have been pretty hot, and Carlos Carrasco has that, like, when he blows up, it goes really bad. So it's tough, but he's a guy I'm gonna target, but he probably won't make like my main lineup that I put in some of the higher tournaments. But he'll be a guy that I have in some of like my mass entry type stuff.
Yeah, well, the Indians team WOBA against lefties is 344, so I like them against Hamels. You don't know what you got coming back, and he could be on a pitch count tomorrow. He could only get, maybe 90 pitches and stuff. And then you get into that bullpen, and then it's all bets are off. You got guys like E5 that are going to be hot. That he can hit against righties and lefties. You got guys like Lindor that's a switch hitter, and Kipnis can hit good against lefties or righties. It doesn't really matter. So it's always an offense to look at. On the other side, the Rangers, Carrasco is somebody that I think that you can attack the Rangers because they will strike out. I don't think that he has upside to match Sale. But if you want to get off the board and get somebody else, Carrasco does have upside to get that. I just don't know if it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next matchup of the Minnesota Twins and Jose Barrios, the rookie, taking on Chris Sale of the Boston Red Sox. It's in Boston. It's partly cloudy, 74%. Humidity is nothing big. Wind 8 miles an hour blowing out. What you got?
So I like, obviously, Chris Sale in this spot. He's the best pitcher in baseball this year. And with other good arms on the slate, I don't think his ownership's going to get too crazy. And, there's like a big price gap. So Chris Sale's like 11.7-ish or 12K. And then everyone else is like 9.5 and under, just under 10K. So it's like, to get Chris Sale, you got to pay up an extra 2,000. And with guys like Barrios, Carrasco, Samardzija on the slate, guys may not, the ownership on Chris Sale might be a little lower tomorrow. So I'm definitely interested in him. I'm, not worried about the ballpark and any of the Minnesota bats. Maybe Sano could take him deep, but it'll probably be a solo shot. Chris Sale's not walking guys. He's got 11.8K per 9. He's elite. And I'm going to target him and hope that his ownership is lower than I'm even expecting. On the other side, Jose Barrios is a talented arm, but I don't like this matchup for him. And I'm going to target Boston bats tomorrow. They're like my contrarian spot. And, it's hard. Tomorrow there's going to be like a lot of chalk. I think the Yankees are going to be very chalky. I think the Nationals are going to be very chalky. And, people are, you don't have to take the tough matchups, but Boston is a team that, everyone's been waiting to get going. They haven't, but they can hit. And Jose Barrios is a guy who relies on swinging strikes. The Red Sox don't strike out that much, so I think they're going to get some walks, have a lot of runners in scoring position. And the prices are down on these guys. Mookie Betts is 3,500 now. And I think it's going to be a low-owned, high-upside spot, and it's one I'm really, really interested in playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you could see both sides on that. I see my man Orange Man, which, by the way, Orange Man's been pretty hot, and he likes Barrios, and I think that it's good because people will always go to the Red Sox playing at home. And they love him, and they love him, and they love him. So Barrios is a guy, he hasn't faced him at all. So nobody knows about him. So I think that he could go out there and he could pitch, 6 or 7 innings with 7 or 8 strikeouts, maybe give up 2 or 3 runs, but get the QS, and might get a win. Probably not because he's facing Sale. On the other side, Because we're starting, because we got such a short slate, I'm thinking maybe we can, start maybe just like a loose, like something I would look at on just cash game, locks for going into tomorrow that I want to talk about. Chris Sale's going to be on it. This is how you got to play it. If anything, you just know to play Chris Sale, and even if he busts, when you're playing cash that over 50% are going to have that too. So It's not a big deal if he doesn't come up with 50 or 60 because that he's going to be at least 60 or 70% owned in cash games tomorrow.
Yep.
I don't really like the Twins batters off of one. If you want one-offs and GPPs, I guess, because he has been susceptible to giving up the long ball for some reason. I don't know. It just seems like every start he gives up like one home run. It seems that way. It's how it is. So, and I also see Mr. Orangeman saying that the Boston doesn't score for him, and it's true. So we'll see tomorrow. You got another thing is the Twins have seen Sale a lot because he used to play in the Central. Mm-hmm. So it's something that you don't know how much his ceiling is tomorrow, but I've been noticing lately that every time we seem to be like doubting the really good starters, they seem to get their value, at least the last week or so. All right, let's move on to the next game on the slate, which is this is my Chicago South Side deep dish pizza calzone. We'll make it a stack. This is my game that I love. The New York Yankees and Jordan Montgomery traveling to Chi-Town to face David Holmberg. Who? David Holmberg. And the Chicago White Sox, with the 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, with light rain, we'll probably get it in. It's 55% humidity. Everybody's going to be going there. Before I even talk about it more, I'm going to flip it to my man, Paulie D. What do you say?
Yeah, Yankees are definitely going to be chalk tomorrow. You may need them to win. So pick your spots. We've seen Dave Holberg get beat up a bunch this year, but they keep going to him. So, I guess they have an expectation that he can, get it together. But right now he's got a 44.9% hard hit rate over the last 30 days and 36.8% fly ball rate. Wind's blowing out. That's trouble. Our boy Judge, for sure, is definitely an option, but you're not going to be able to probably fit Judge and Sale on the same teams, Judge at 5K. So, in my opinion, I'm going to look to have some Yankees, but not all, and kind of hope that the chalk busts a little. We saw the Yankees go off a little bit today. They didn't win, but they put up six runs, and we'll see what their lineup looks like. So Hicks got hurt, and we'll see who they bat second tomorrow. So if it's Gary Sanchez batting second, he's going to be mega chalk, and I think I'm going to fade that spot. My Yankees ownership will be Judge and maybe Gardner, lefty on lefty, and then mostly the bottom of the order. Mason Williams is most likely going to be starting now with Hicks out. He's like 24 or 2,500 on FanDuel. Chase Headley is a guy who's been hitting the ball harder lately, just hasn't had good luck. And, I think this is a spot, he's a switch hitter, where you can get him and get a piece of the Yankees at lower ownership. So, look at the bottom of the order here. I expect a lot of runs in this game. And I'm also really interested in the White Sox. I don't know how popular they'll be. Jordan Montgomery's been doing really well. And, it's like, the White Sox are great against lefties, but I don't know how popular they're going to be. So they're like my favorite spot for offense on this slate. Jose Abreu, Avisel Garcia, Matt Davidson. These guys have been tearing up the ball when they face lefties. And although Jordan Montgomery is good, he just has to run into some growing pains. So I think this could be the spot. Like you said, it's going to be humid. it's not going to be a nice day, and I think they're going to get to him. So I'm going to try the White Sox side of this game and hope that it's right. What do you think?
Okay, everybody hear what he says. Bingo. Survey says boom. The DeFrancisco's get the board. Number one. Okay, the White Sox. I'm telling you guys, the White Sox tomorrow, as a team, they're hitting 400 WOBA against lefties. As a team right now. The last lefty that they faced was Kyle Turley and the Twins, and they put up 9 runs against him on Thursday. This guy Montgomery, he's been good, but he's not one of the like elite lefties in the game. So, I mean, that's the thing. Everybody's going to go to the Yankee side, and they should. And if you can fit in Yankees bats, I like them. Especially any of the righties that you could get, like you said, Headley. Maybe if you want to fit in, you could probably fit in one of the big bats. But if you want like the other side, Avisail Garcia, Jose Abreu, those 2 guys are there. Matt Davidson, that guy is smoking hot. Okay, Frazier's good. And the only bad thing is you can't play Davidson and Abreu at the same time.
Yeah.
So my thing is that the public is going to go to the Yankees, and the White Sox can put up 10 runs against Montgomery or that's against them. I'm telling you, they can. It's not crazy to think about. So,
yeah, and Melky Cabrera against his old team, we could see him show up in that spot. And, don't be afraid of the Yankees lefties. Didi Gregorius is actually like better against lefties, and Brett Gardner, he hits everybody. So those might be the spots that differentiate yourself and still get you a piece of that game. So don't just eliminate him because of the split.
Definitely. This is, like I said, this is my double stack of the night. I love this game. The Yankees had 5.9 runs, but the White Sox 4.8. I think that Vegas isn't giving them enough respect. So let's move on. It's the Freeway Series, everybody. That's right, the Freeway Series. The Anaheim Angels and Ricky Nolasco taking on the only team in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Dodgers and Rich Hill, who I guarantee is not going to go more than 5 innings tomorrow. Paulie D, what do you got?
I'm curious what the chat has to say on this. Who would you take, Joe? You're building a team, Bellinger or Judge?
You know what I love? I love my boy. The kid. The thing is that I think who they're facing, I think they're both facing a pitcher that is pretty much crappy, and Bellinger's a 3,800. That's why right there I would put in Bellinger over Judge. But
dude, he hit 2 more today.
He 2 more today. I mean, come on,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Ricky Nolasco gives up the most home runs on this slate. I guess we're both going to be picking Bellinger for Don Watch, whoever gets first pick. But this is a good spot for the Dodgers here. In all seriousness, they've been hot lately, and there's not really many holes in this lineup. And I'm not going to read out every name on this lineup, but Yasmani Grandal is one I'm going to be targeting at catcher. That position's kind of thin on this slate, and I think he's the nice pivot off of Gary Sanchez. And we'll see if Corey Seager plays. He didn't play today, and he's got like a little injury that he was available to pinch hit. So I think he'll be in the lineup tomorrow, and I like him. On the other side, Rich Hill, I think there's something wrong. I think he's either pitching through injury, or there's like an arm slot issue because he's been getting hit. His walk rate is like through the roof. So the Angels could be an interesting contrarian spot on this slate as well, especially if you're looking for salary relief to fit Sale. Guys at the bottom of this order, Martin Maldonado's been hot. Danny Espinosa's actually been coming out of his long slumber, and he's a significantly more powerful hitter from the right side and can offer you some savings. Eric Young, the switch hitter, has some speed, and he's been hitting the ball. Cameron Maybin's been tearing the ball up. It's not, I'm not saying this should be like your best spot, but it's an interesting one, and I'll probably have a little bit of exposure because of the contrarian side of it. And I expect this game to have a bunch of runs on each side.
Yeah, you got Chase Headley at 2.4. That's a good value if you're looking for somebody in cash games to pay down for. And Seager's a little tweaked right now. I think he tweaked his knee a little bit. So I'm not. The Dodgers are just really hot right now. They're the hottest team in baseball. They've won 10 in a row. To me, just speaking, right now it's the Dodgers and the Nats in NLCS, and the Indians are playing the Astros in the ALCS. Just right now, that's what I have. It could change, but the Cubs might have something to say about right now. These two teams are playing the best. And, you look at Bellinger and Turner, those two guys right there, they're both still they're under 4K. I mean, I think that they should be over 4K at least, and you're getting decent value with Bellinger. I look at other first basemen around him. I mean, there's not much. I mean, they're all pretty good, but who's going to hit you too? Because Bellinger's done it like 5 or 6 times this year already.
Yeah.
So he's got that he can definitely just hit home runs at just an alarming rate.
Yep.
So yeah, and on the other side, the Angels, I guess you can. I just think that the Dodgers bullpen is, once you get into it, I guess they could roll out Hyun-Jin Ryu, maybe.
Yep. Yeah.
In relief of Hill. So think about that, because sometimes they do that. But yeah, this game I look more on the Dodgers side to win. All right, final game of the night. Mr. German Marquez of the Colorado Rockies going up north to travel to Frisco to take on Jeff Samardzija and the Frisco Giants.
Yeah. I like both pitchers here. Giant Stadium is just like the best place for pitchers. And it's cold, 60 degrees. And, the Rockies struggle on the road. San Francisco's lineup doesn't scare you. I like Samardzija's price at 8.3. And I really like Marquez at 7.0. Marquez is interesting because you're going to get him at very low ownership. He has some strikeout upside, although there's not a ton in the Giants lineup usually. But they've been playing some younger kids. There's this guy, Ryder Jones, that's in their lineup, Austin Slater. And I don't know, are those guys going to add to the strikeout total? They may. So, you expect like a 3-2 kind of game here. You might be able to get, Marquez a win, probably a quality start. And if he can get you like 6 or 7 Ks in the 40-point range, that's fine, and it helps you get a ton of good bats, and that could be the way you differentiate yourself on this slate. I think, 60 to 70% of the ownership is going to be between Sale, probably Samardzija, and Carrasco. So most of the lineups are going to be struggling to fit in the expensive bats. And Marquez will let you kind of take the opposite route and stack up the bats. And, if he can get you a solid performance, that could be the difference maker. And, Samardzija's kind of similar in that his cost is low, not as low. And, he allows you to kind of pick and choose your bats. And I think that's going to kind of get him popular because the Rockies run total is like 3.8. He's got K upside. So I really like Samardzija, and I have interest in Marquez. Really don't have interest in the Rockies bats. Sure, like Arnado One-Off is fine, or Charlie Blackmon. And on the Giants side, I have a little bit of interest, like especially if I go harder on Marquez, I'll have a hedge stack because I think the Giants bats are starting to heat up. And like guys like Hunter Pence and Brandon Belt, Joe Panic, they they're scrappy. You could even pitch Marquez and have like a one-off like in Brandon Belt or Hunter Pence and still it wouldn't kill you. So A little bit of interest. This is probably a game, if you do play the bats, that they'll be low ownership. And, I think you want to have a small piece of this, whether it's a pitcher or like a mini stack.
Yeah, that sounds good. This game, I think it might go a little bit just overlooked in general.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that everybody's going to go certain places, and this is going to be the last night and late night game. And if you want to go somewhere else, you're going to go to like the Dodgers, late night,
Yep.
and so it's something that you can definitely just be contrarian just by playing any of the Rockies, and they can go off. They're pissed off right now. They just got swept by the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So they can go up there and they can just absolutely crush the Giants tomorrow night. And so, I don't mind, going with Blackman and Arenado and LeMahieu or something like that, but I probably won't go there. But so what I wanted to do now, and maybe we could just sit and talk. And what I want to do is I want to share my screen, and I want to go through how I would go through my process of picking tomorrow's cash game lineup, and just have you sit there and kind of send in any just comments or something to that effect.
All right.
Yep. All right. So basically, obviously, we're sitting here and we're talking about. We're going to start off because it's an obvious day. We know where we're going for cash, so everybody's listening out there. Paulie, if I'm not going to put up in the chat, so if somebody has questions or comments or maybe what they want to see, what they want to do or what have you, throw them my way, so I can stop and maybe explain why I'm going certain places.
Okay.
And remember, everybody, I probably won't even be using this lineup. This isn't me giving anybody a lineup. This is me showing you my process. This is, over 12 hours from when the games are going to start. So this is a first look of where I'm going to be going, and it probably won't be much different than maybe the pitch. It probably be different. The pitcher will probably be the only person that I will stay with, at least to start with right now. But we'll see what we can find. Okay, so it's obviously simple. We're gonna pick Chris Sale. He's the only guy. It's the easiest road tomorrow. So let's just lock him in. Now, what I want to do is everybody goes catcher, second base, whatever. I want to see right now, just before even lineups are out. I want to see what catchers we might have and who might be batting where. So, and what I might like. Okay, so recently I've been noticing that. Where is he? Wilson Contreras has been usually batting third lately. And so I'm going to lock him in as the cash game catcher tomorrow. See, what I'm doing here is I'm paying down a catcher as much as I can right now. Might even go lower, depending on who starts where. I could maybe go Maldonado at 2,300. If Montero gets the start, he would be the absolute lock. So why don't we just say Montero is going to start tomorrow because he's a little bit cheaper, just to show everybody.
Roberto Perez, they're right there, 2,300 against Hamels is not a bad idea. And at the very bottom, Lobatone on Washington. If he gets to start again, he's 2K. Yeah, and he actually has a ton of power, so it's like a good way. Like if you're punting, you want the guy to have like a specialty. Like he can steal bases or he can hit a home run in this matchup. So, he can get you that home run tomorrow, and at 2K, that's amazing.
And most of this is just dependent on these guys that are punting. We're basically waiting for the lineups to come out to see where they're batting. And if, for instance, Contreras bats third and he's 2,700. That's, to me, that is just an auto play. So, but if, Montero bats sixth or fifth, I'm going to roll with that too. If any of those catchers that are like 23 or 2,400 or below bat six or higher, I don't have a problem with playing any of them, no matter what matchup that they have. Right. So let's move on
Joe, real
What you
quick.
want to say? Yeah.
Guy in the chat's like you roster them depending on what position in the lineup. So when it comes to cash, you want at bats, right? So when a guy's batting in the top half of the order, you got a better chance, especially on the road. You got a better chance for him to get 5 at bats and to produce, a single, a walk, anything, a sac fly. It just increases your chances of scoring and getting up the scoreboard. So that's why if he's got a catcher that's low price, hitting at the top of the order, that's why it's like an automatic.
Yes, and like usually the top 6 are where I like to have them bat. But at catching is the one spot that if nobody is in that area and I still want to pay down, I don't mind going like Sandy Leone usually hits like 8th or something in the Red Sox lineup or 9th, and I'll just go it that way. But generally speaking, yes, if it's in the top 6. So let's move on to first base. Tomorrow, when I look at that, I believe, in my opinion, just straight off on price and everything, I'm going to look at 3 guys, and they're all right there. It's either Bellinger, Encarnacion, or Abreu. They're both facing Encarnacion and Abreu are both facing lefties, which I like, and Bellinger obviously is hotter than Georgia Asphalt. So I'm going to just go with my man, with Bellinger, just for tomorrow. It's the same price, but I'm just going to go with Bellinger at 3,800 and move on as one of my bats. The point is that you see the formula of me paying up now at first base.
Okay.
Let's move on to second base. Second base, let's go down again. Actually,
this is a tough position tomorrow. There's not a ton of great options.
Exactly. Obviously, if you have Fuego's boy, Eric Gonzalez, if he's batting second, I like that. This is a guy right here, Alan Hansen. If he's leading off, he would probably be the guy that I would lock in, him or Chase Utley, and even Kelby Tomlinson led off earlier this week. So those 3 guys, I would probably I would like in a cash game right now, because I went with Bellinger. And this is the only thing. I'm not into fully stacking a team, but I don't mind mini stacking on cash. So I'm going to go with Utley right here, and hopefully he bats first. If he doesn't, I would probably go to Hansen or Tomlinson, just because, once again, they're batting up in the lineup, and they're cheap. So they're going to get a lot of at-bats. And Utley is a professional hitter who has seen Ricky Nolasco more than once in his career. So I will take the hitter in that matchup unless he has completely terrible BVP against him. Anybody else saying anything in the chat right now until we move on?
No, you're good. I'm just making sure they all know this is your cash game lineup.
Yeah, this is cash game, guys. This is a cash game. Third base. Let's move back down. Okay, third base tomorrow.
Someone said you got to be sad the A's aren't playing. No Jed Lowry.
Yes, correct. It's true, and thank you, obviously for knowing that I didn't have a man crush on Jed Lowry until about literally like 6 weeks ago, and then it is fully on right now. I mean, wow. Okay, so third base tomorrow. Wow, everything looks kind of like blah. And I'm not in love with anything at this point. You know what? I would probably at this point, depending on where, if a guy like Eduardo Nunez, he's not playing, or Headley, if he's up in the order, I kind of like that. Miguel Sano, no, he's facing Sale. I just don't like that in cash. I would probably go maybe Rendon. I like him, so I'm going to just lock him in at 3,500. Once again, I'm paying up. Shortstop is probably the one position. It might be the next position if I was not paying up at pitcher, I might pay a little bit more for. But because we still have 2,850. We're trying to see what might be a good play. Tomorrow, I will probably go for Brandon Crawford just first look. Brandon Crawford probably batting third in that Giants lineup against Marquez. I don't mind it. He's not a bad cash game. And now we move to outfield. Outfield, first of all, I like to find out who are the value outfielders right away. And there's usually a couple that'll stand out right away. And then you know where you can go from there and how much more you have to pay down. Right away, I'm going to say that somebody like Albert Almora of the Cubs, if he happens to be up in the lineup, he hits lefties quite well.
Very well.
So he might be a good one-off. Then going down a little more.
Right there. Mason Williams.
Mason Williams, yes, right there. This is the guy. Good catch. This is the guy that's going to be starting in front of for Andrew Hicks tomorrow. If he's leading off, he's lock and load in every cash game right then and there. Put him in. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like right there. Let's show it. Why isn't this going now? I don't know why it's just stopping. I don't know what happened. Uh-oh.
Good win.
Uh-oh, what happened? I don't know. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, everybody's seeing my screen. I don't know what is happening.
Gotta watch out what screen pops
there it
up.
is. Okay. Yeah, I know. I know. Jeez.
Where's Brian Goodwin?
Yes. Next is my man. There he is. Goodwin. 2,600. So now how much do we have left to spend on? We have 3,600 to spend on an outfielder. And let's see what we have. Sinsu Chu, Mookie Betts. I mean, right there. I mean, those are your. God, we live in a world where Michael Taylor is the same price as Mookie Betts and Sinsu Chu.
That's crazy.
Wow. Okay, so at this point, it's your personal preference. This is where I would go to the WiseTake model and see, wisetake.com, go to the model once we launch, guys, and you see the way maybe who is ranked higher in the model. I'm going to go from Betts just for my money because he's kicking off, and the pitcher that he's facing tomorrow is who's pitching for the Twins again? Barrios. Opposed to who's pitching for?
They're both Carrasco's facing Chu.
Yeah, so they're both facing
decent pitchers. Scroll down, yeah. See who else is around there.
There's Jock. Avisail Garcia. There's another guy. And then at that point, I might even play around with the fact of maybe switching from Bellinger and going to Abreu, and now I have a little bit more money to switch around because now I have a 2-3 stack or a 3-4 stack of a Garcia and Abreu. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go back to just me. All right. So anyway, so I just hope that kind of gave you, any new members out there or guys that are in the chat, just a little bit on how my process on how I'm going to be getting my cash game. So, it's just something that you need to develop over time in your own process, and the more you do it, it'll just become easier. You'll know the prices better. You'll know which value guys I would probably be looking at, and you're going to know where I'm going to be going, and that's because I'm going to be teaching you guys this. So anyways, yeah, so let's play some Dong Watch, and because it was so popular last time, we're going to do a mix-up Dong Watch, just like last time, all right? And then we're going to take some questions at the end, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, so let's go. Dong Watch, first guy, I want a middle infielder.
Dude, this girl Stephanie Rowland thinks you're cute. She said sports are cool, but how can you pay attention to stats when you have someone like Patio who's so cute? I was thinking the same, Steffi.
I want to thank you. Thank you.
All right.
The girl seems smart. That's all I got to say.
I know. Our followers are really, really smart. For the home run, I'm going to go with Justin Turner. I'll let you take the first baseman there. but I like
No,
Justin
no, no.
Turner.
I said
against
middle
the Reds.
infielder myself.
Oh, middle infielder.
Middle
What's that?
infielder. So
Shortstop and second base.
shortstop and second base.
Wow, that's a little tough, but I'll go with Daniel Murphy then.
Daniel Murphy. All right. Very cool. Very cool. I am gonna go with Trey Turner, the reverse splits guy.
Cool.
So, all right. Next is somebody in the American League.
Somebody in American. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at this chat. Somebody in the American League. Give me Abreu on the White Sox tomorrow.
Abreu. I like it. I'm gonna go with somebody in the American League. I'm gonna go with Nomar Mazara. Somebody off the market tomorrow. Nomar Mazara. Why not? And finally, somebody from the NL West.
And then I can get my my Justin Turner pick there. I'll take him.
Okay. Good. Justin Turner. Okay. And for me, I got to go with my boy, Cody B.
Cody B.
I'm going to keep picking him. Cody Bellinger. He's my man. So, yeah, we're going to try. We're just trying to just kind of switch things up a little bit. I think we had a good time the other day. Let's see. I see some questions here in the chat. I saw Mr. Robert Kahn, who's the best stack for tomorrow. I'm gonna go with my favorite stack, and I think Paulie likes it too. We both like the White Sox, just because of the way that everybody's gonna be going to the Yankees. We're not saying the Yankees aren't good. We're not saying don't play the Yankees. We both think that the White Sox are in just a good spot, and we say to play them too. Who do you got?
Yeah, I definitely like the White Sox. We'll definitely have Avisel Garcia in that mix, and one of the first basemen, and maybe Todd Frazier. Not sure. So like a 3-man White Sox stack for sure, and maybe Melky Cabrera. But my favorite stack is probably the bottom half of the Nationals order. I really like Anthony Rendon, Daniel Murphy, and if we get the cheap catcher from the Nats, that would work well, and Michael Taylor.
Very nice. All right. Any other questions? Anything else? Anybody else want to ask us anything? I would like to thank Miss Stephanie Rowland for providing a little bit more like spice in the chat room tonight. I think that everybody likes when we have females join us. So Stephanie, thank you.
Bring some friends.
Appreciate yes. Tell your friends. Tell them about. I guess you think I'm attractive. You're smart. I think she's a smart girl. She must like Italians. What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that.
Anybody else? We good?
Questions?
We good? Orange Man, you in here? Did you take off? Orange Man, take off. Hughes, you take off. You still there? Everybody's just trying to hit on Stephanie now, huh?
Yeah, it's messed up.
All right, that's all right. No. You did good. No, Stephanie, you did not take away. Trust me. I just saw that you did not take away. You made things so much more interesting. You need to realize, we're all DFS like baseball nerds, okay? Like we all, we like it when a female comes into our world and has the courage to take it and take the best shot. So thank you for
Robert's got another question. Do you believe in BVP or other routes better?
Okay, here's my thing with BVP. I do not agree with anybody that says that BVP is not real. Do I consider it 100%? No, I don't consider it every time. But there's certain things that I look at. There has to be a certain sort of sample size. Obviously, the more sample size, the better. But like for instance, today, if you didn't want to play Evan Longoria because he has 8 home runs against Chris Tillman, and you didn't think that BVP is real, then I cannot tell you anything else. He just hit his 9th home run today, and that's my point. And another thing I'll look at when it also looks at BVP is a good thing is if you can find out the exit velocity on the hitter. If he might hit maybe 250 against the pitcher, but if he has 20, 25 at bats and he has a average exit velocity of over 100 miles an hour, that means that the guy is hitting it hard, and maybe he just is a little bit unlucky. So that doesn't mean to shy away from him. So I do, take BVP into consideration every day in my process. I look to see who are the top BVP guys, to see who stands out. And yes, they're definitely something I'm going to look at, but I will not go solely on what BVP just because of BVP.
Yeah, for BVP, like I believe in it. Players see the ball better off certain hitters, and when the sample size is larger, then it's something you should definitely pay attention to. If it's a guy that's like 3 for 7 off someone, that doesn't really interest me as much. I'm looking for at least 20 at bats, and what I'm really looking for when I'm looking at BVP is strikeouts versus walks. So if a batter doesn't have many strikeouts versus a pitcher, that's a good sign. And if he's walking, that means he's seeing his pitch as well. And then how many extra base hits? It doesn't have to be home runs. Could be the doubles and the triples. But, if a guy is 10 for 30, so he's batting 300, but 9 of those are doubles, triples, and home runs, I'm interested. If the extra base hits are low and the strikeouts are high, then I'm not as interested. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Anybody else before we wrap this up?
Yeah. Which pitcher besides Sale will have high ownership? I'll tell you, it is going to be Samardzija and Carrasco.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that I agree to that. And if somebody wants to know the pitcher that is going to be contrarian that nobody's going to be on, that maybe could match Sale if everything went match right, in my opinion, I think is Berrios. What do you think?
I don't really love Berrios tomorrow.
I know it's right. You don't.
I'll probably be sending you some statistics and things to look at, so you don't get on that train. Mm-hmm. But he does have great stuff, and he's definitely a very, very talented pitcher. He pitched great his last start, but the Boston patience and the ballpark is things that have me off of him. Because he's a guy that relies on the swinging strikes, and Boston doesn't strike out very much, so I don't think that's a great spot for him. But I think Marquez, it could be that interesting contrarian spot. We like to take pitchers in Giant Stadium. He has K upside, or K. He's average at getting Ks, and as we mentioned, Giants are trying out some other guys in their lineup, so that could add a few of those. And it's just a very low run total, and it could be the guy that allows you to get bats. So I think he's a guy that you can get like a 35 to 40 from tomorrow, and that would be totally fine.
Okay, so we my man Mr. Orangeman asks, is VMI a good stat to use for MLB? I want to know what VMI is. Can you help me out?
I don't know what that is either.
I don't know what that is either. So I would say no. I don't know what it is. But I even tried to Google it, and it came up with some Virginia like Virginia Medical Institute or something like. It said like update VMI baseball record book of VMI key dates. I don't know. I don't know. But thank you. Hey, listen, we're gonna get on that, Mr. Orange Man. I like it. We like it. So, anyways, guys, stop. Hey, listen, guys. When a woman comes to the chat room try and make her feel uncomfortable.
Seriously.
All right, let's try and welcome her to this great family that we have here. All right, I guarantee you. Like, okay, first of all, do you really think that there's trannies that play DFS? Come on now. I mean, honestly, do you really like look at me out there? Do you really think there are trannies that I like titties and I got a dick? But let's play some DFS. I don't know.
That's not happening.
I mean, I don't want to end on this, but
I'm just saying. Off the rails.
I'm just saying, everybody, let's welcome when we have females in this chat room. Let's welcome, okay?
Yes.
Let's welcome. We love everybody. Everybody that came in tonight. Listen, I want to thank everybody that came here. We had a lot of fun. Seriously, it could be hey, D-Tech, if you find a tranny at the live final, I want you to take a picture with her. All right, okay. I want you to share lineups or whatever, because we're gonna bring this. He's gonna come on or he or she is gonna come on the podcast. Okay, because if there's a tranny at the live final that is a contestant, she's gonna be on the WiseTake. We're gonna get her on her. If you find her, that's what you got to do. Okay. Don't concentrate on your lineup, concentrate on, anyway. So once again, guys, thank you for joining us. Put the like button down there. Like us on YouTube, like us on iTunes, on Podbean, like us everywhere you can. Retweet this when you get on Twitter. We really appreciate all the comments, all the positives. We got a lot of things planned for everybody coming up. Paulie D, Patio Joe, CK, we're going to be taking care of you, okay? We're going to be having a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be coming here every night, Sunday through Thursday, talking about the slates. We are going to try and do something over the weekend. We had a little bit of a just like trying to record something myself. CK was asleep. He was in Amish Town. We don't know where he was. We're going to try and do something on the weekends for people just because it's just fun to just talk about it, because it's part of my process too. So, Paulie, have anything last thing to say?
No, I think you covered it all. I guess I got to watch my back at the live final. And, anyone has any questions for tomorrow's slate, feel free to reach out. I think it's a good slate. I think there's some opportunity to do some good things on this one. So, good luck, everybody.
Yes, and be sure to follow Paulie D, it's down there, spelled Paulie, and then the 8 Ds. Be sure to follow me at Patio Joe Ref. And obviously for CK that's in the back helping us out, and on the chat room he helped us out, we want to say thank you to CK. Maybe he'll be back tomorrow night talking about Tuesday slate. But until then, I'm Patio Joe with D-Tech. We're WiseTake DFS. Let's get that cash tomorrow, guys. We're out. Peace.
Yeah.